Folks, I may have found it. I may have found one of the most bizarre but fascinating movies to ever watch. The films of Alejandro Jodorowsky from 1973. The Holy Mountain. John Lennon championed him. Dennis Hopper used him, and Marilyn Monroe loves him. Alejandro Jodorowsky is one of Marilyn Manson loves him. Jodorowsky is one of cinema's most controversial and influential filmmakers. In 1968, his scandalous debut, Fondo Elise, caused a riot in Mexico. His ultra-violent underground hit El Topo dragged the hippie generation of the 70s, single-handedly invented the American midnight movie phenomenon, and transformed his creator a counterculture icon with The Holy Mountain. His pop alchemical follow-up, Jodorowsky, tore apart the very fabric of film. After 35 years in the wilderness, the Maverick visionary is back to shock and bedazzle audiences all over again. Ben Cobb, Anarchy and Alchemy, the films of Alejandro. The Holy Mountain. The scandal of the 1973 Cannes Film Festival. Writer-director Jodorowsky's flood of sacrilegious imagery and existential symbolism is a spiritual quest for enlightenment pitting illusion against truth. The planets in the solar system. The occult adapts intention to put his recruits through strange mystical rites and divest them of their worldly baggage before embarking on a trip to Lotus Island. There they ascend the Holy Mountain to place the immortal gods who secretly rule the universe. Alan Jones. Yes, this is... in Mexico, this is an alternate world of Mexico. It's an alternate world. And there's this one thief played by Alejandro who looks like Jesus Christ with the beard and everything, and he's notices that there's like this tower or whatever, and he climbs it via a hook, and he goes up there, and there's this alchemist who says, yeah, you are going to lead 9 different people up a mountain in Mexico, I forgot which one, and you will help them maintain immortality. And we learn through these 9 exactly what they are, based off of the 9 planets. You know, everything from gosh darn Mars to Pluto, which was still a planet, not a microplanet or whatever it's called nowadays. And yeah, we get to see the satire going. For example, with Saturn being the one that's there for the children, also devours the children. And we also get to see how holy wars happen. They create weapons in the name of holy wars. My personal favorite is when they take a candelabra and also a Buddha that's praying and fashion it into like the gun. So it's like you got the usual neck right here, and then the iconography associated with it of saying like how they're producing all these goods. But it's used in an ironic way. Ergo the satire that's going on, along with several other things, including, and I guess one more, like that they were just like, you know how you may have like the clothes and everything for the runways. Well, they make these gaudy, ugly models like out of ballistics gel that people find to be very nice to look at, so they have them strapped on. And with all this stuff going on, it's like saying, okay, now you're going to go and you're going to ascend the Holy Mountain, but only after some more weird stuff. I mean, I had the director's commentary on that, helped explain a lot of stuff, including like all the tarot cards around. He was studying the tarot cards, but he said that at the Alejandro said at the time he felt like it was very pretentious, and he created his own, which was supposed to be like like the hanging man, the lovers, things like that. I don't know much about that. That's if you like that, more power to you. But we also get the religious symbolism of a peafowl, which is used for the vibrancy, and then we get like the placement of 4 swords, one that's near the groin for the sexuality, one that's placed near the head for knowledge, and I forgot what the other two were for. I think for like leading away or something like that. And there's also a pelican. Now, pelican is just, like sometimes you'll see it with like images of Jesus Christ or whatever. Like when there's nothing else to eat, the mother pelican will allow its babies to puncture its chest in order to get blood, like the blood of Jesus or whatever. So I found that to be very interesting. And meanwhile, we get to see all the fantastic coloring, all the stuff that Alejandro was doing, and even he commissioned a painter, I forgot who, not Picasso, to say, hey, have some symbolism going on in here to show like the satire going on in the world, but I was only able to display it for a couple of weeks, but for like maybe a couple of minutes with all the paintings, but as a result, the sales of the paintings increased, everything, so we got some, I don't want to say infamy, but his works became more well-known, let's just put it that way. So all the meanwhile, as I'm watching this, I'm like, okay, so when are we going to get to the actual mountain? Because as I'm watching this, I'm just thinking, I mean, yeah, it's performed really well. We get to see the whole city. I mean, the cinematography is great. I mean, it's not even like a 3-act structure. Yeah, Alejandro said, that like most American movies had the 3-act structure. Here, this is something else completely different. This is a metaphysical journey that was going on. So all the meanwhile, he had 9 actors and him go up to a mountain, and finally, just when we think that they're going to go and achieve enlightenment. I mean, like they go to like shamans, they go to like masters of the craft. Gave the actors some, not LSD, or things to like expand their mind, because they even makes fun of Timothy Leary and LSD, saying you don't need that in order to make something that'll truly challenge your mind, which I found that to be funny. But yeah, ultimately at the end, just when they think that they're going to attain enlightenment, lo and behold, they don't. Instead, we get a zoom out of the cast there and the crew, including like a crew member that's like up here for what we thought was going to be a shot of them all like concentrically lined up, but nope, we don't even get there, which I'm just like, what the heck? Then boy, did that piss off a lot of people. Some of the actors wouldn't talk to them for years. I think some of the crew were upset, and people watching it were upset. Yeah, I wonder the heck why. So ultimately, it's, yeah, I'll tell you, like one of the things that helped them be immortal was how they said to divest some of their worldly desires. I guess is like having a menage a trois and other stuff that was going on. We get to see all 9 of them and the stuff they were thinking, which I'm like, okay, that's actually a cool way of how to show it. It's an example of show, don't tell. And I'll tell you, I'm just like, as I'm watching all this, I'm just thinking, so it's what ultimately was going on here was that Alejandro wanted, saying that like cinema is meant to help expand people's minds. It's more than just edutainment. It's to be able to embody, I guess, a certain philosophy of saying, hey, it's time to smarten up, and here's a way of how to do it. Here's a bunch of symbolism and stuff that you need to look up in order to better understand it. That I can always appreciate and think to myself, well, that's exactly what happened here. For a long time, this was not available for whatever reason, just for how weird it was. But eventually it's now obviously got a DVD and Blu-ray release, and you can watch it online. But it's still scarce. It's still not exactly that well known, and it's just frustrating because this is a freaking powerful, phenomenal movie that's both expectations, reality, all the stuff that Alejandro had to do of renting factories, coloring them, and everything else. And ultimately, towards the end, it's sadly not. No, well, no. Yes, I do want to see El Topo and Fondo E lists, whatever that means translated. So yeah. All that being said, obviously, it is truly highly recommended that you watch this really weird but really freaking great movie, The Holy Mountain.